Cé a hagan cómh duracha ó bhfuil na farraige, cosisiúil le scamal scáthach an bhór. Tá an bás ag crit ina lámh, tá a chúla mar lastracha tine.
The time has come for the secrets of this landscape to be revealed. I am Oona. Some know me as Queen of the Fairies. My king, Finvara, built all that you see here. You may know him as Finn McCool, or Fionvar, or even Fingal. The stories about him are many and varied. We were the Benandonner, peaceful for centuries until our lands were invaded. My people were forced into battle by men hungry for power, and these lands have seen many battles since.
Chur Finvara ard in a lung, a chalíomh gealamach rive. Bú fása gan sulsiú da chruach, ba cosúil le metar glas an bhás é agus dúrcí an gealach lán neamh.
Many have memories of Finvara in battle with another, a giant man called Cuchulainn. Other tales, transformed by time and place, speak of him as Cuchulainn or Benandonner. Finvara built this causeway to be with Cuchulainn, perhaps to fight, but the truth is more like love than hate.
Chiamar, Dehamar, Niodan, Cianamar, Jairi Cuchulainn, Dillanart lava, Hánig lunner ina aig. Chusí mé agus na bard ag canú faoi cathanna gin slé, cathanna inar thrid mé go minic, anis ní dridin mé a tilu. Jimmy an ihe chart le havríanacht. Shriach amar madjin lit lunder. Jari Finvara an fréach vá agus cri sé slá sulseach. Hui sé I dró na macarí, lena merlán armathe. Le anagína siolta a dúirt an rí. Bairigi gréim na guithe. Jeríamar dun na harán. Frostríamar le lunder trí chorun I núracha na mara.
Finvara rarely contained his spear or his sword. It mattered not to me that my king was in love with a man, that the earth erupted when they were together. I had lovers too, many of them women. We had a different idea of love from those who tried to oppress us. This was as natural as our connection to the earth.
Hánig an gealach amach as an irthir. Dil Finvara a arm ag lunrach, hí luachar a óig mór, anonymaka sucker. Chan Kukulin Aron Viomar, Bina Kunik Lukaruk, Jari Lostrika Eran Dorak, agus in Shio Skeelta na Leakra. Dardig Sheed an Shol Glover, vi an Gwe ig Fadol Tri Ilika Dol Gran Shol, Bina Tunta eg Glasku na Charagaka Galunaka, North na Faraga Fiegfar. Jari an Leak Kian Lea nor a Hunik She Shli Finvara. Bhí a chúla lán le duracha, cibhní sé cána a hóige.
Finvara was remembered as a mighty warrior, a benevolent giant, king of the dead. After our defeat, we were forced underground. So many different versions of the truth. Why they twisted a story of two men in love into a tale of violence, I do not understand. But that seems to be what happens when small-minded men force free spirits underground. I knew that the love of two men, as great as this, was something that history could not bear. But I knew that it was something that one day I must share.
Go daga an culla aníis, a manam lard núcar. Go villa tariv an móige agus lédanta neartfara Finvara.
Sometime in the early 1960s, I don't know when exactly, there were two sisters living in Belfast named Margaret and Catherine.
Margaret and Catherine.
They had a mother, Mary,
Who
was an
an alcoholic,
and she had become a great burden to the sisters.
a great burden.
Their younger brother John had escaped their working-class Belfast existence a few years earlier, emigrating to Melbourne with his wife and daughters, hopeful of creating a more prosperous life.
A more prosperous life.
Margaret and Catherine decided it was time for their brother John to step up and take responsibility for their troublesome mother.
Their troublesome mother.
It was the era of the £10 poms, and a ticket to Australia was affordable for the two sisters. So they sent their mother Mary on a long boat journey to Melbourne.
A long boat journey to Melbourne.
Mary thought she was going for a holiday, to visit her son John.
But she was travelling on a one-way ticket.
It wasn't until Mary arrived in Melbourne that John realised what his sisters had done.
To avoid his mother being upset by the truth, he let Mary believe that she had come for a holiday and set about planning to send her home.
John worked as a foreman in a factory that made metal paper fasteners. In order to pay for his mother's return ticket,
which was considerably more than £10,
he had to take a night job as a taxi driver. He eventually sent his mother back home to Belfast and never communicated with his sisters again. At least that's the version of the story that I've been told. Mary was my great-grandmother, and her son John was my grandfather
on my mother's side.
The memories of this family feud are not my own.
They're not my own.
I only know what my mother was told.
And I heard this second-hand from my sister.
But it fascinates me that my mother in Melbourne would have been told a very different version of events to that which my grandfather's sisters Margaret and Catherine revealed to their own daughters back in Belfast.
Two versions of one truth on opposite sides of the world.
All I have are echoes of memories, distorted by time and distance. spectral memories. And I know nothing of how my great-grandmother Mary felt. Did she enjoy her holiday?
Did she see it as a holiday or a hopeful migration?
Did she suspect that her son worked deliberately to send her back, rather than let her join in his more prosperous life? I think of her as displaced, unwelcome by her children on both sides of the world. I don't even know what she looked like. I imagine her in monochrome,
with silver hair, a grey cardigan,
and a voice like gravel. I think that if I heard her speak, she would have commanded my respect. My memories of my grandfather are in colour. His gold-rimmed glasses, his brown pipe, his Irish accent, rich and warm, like the gravy we had with Sunday lunch. I remember he had a grey moustache,
which I suppose would have looked the same in black and white. Both sides of the family perpetuated their own truth and continued the feud.
It manifested in strange ways that I still don't understand. 20 years after these events, when I was about 8, my mother severed all ties with her parents and her sister. I never knew why.
The subject was not up for discussion.
My grandparents on my father's side tried to intervene.
So they were cut off too.
I never saw them or any of my cousins again.
Even my actual memories of them feel like echoes now.
A series of feuds seem to have cascaded through the generations of my family.
My sister and I used to joke that maybe this kind of behaviour was hereditary.
Almost 20 years after being cut off from my extended family, I moved to London to find myself and to find my kin, to create new memories
and confabulations of old ones. Because that's what storytellers do. Especially the queer ones.